Okay, I think we are good to go. Hello, everyone. It is time once again for Workshop Wednesday, where we build stuff and we make stuff. Tonight's a special woodworking project. I have, as you all probably know, a bunch of puppets. And I want to build a stand for those puppets. So it's literally just like a coat rack. It's a freestanding stand of wood with dowels coming out of it, and so the puppets will be, uh, you know, on those dowels, and then that needs a base. So the basic idea here is I've got this piece of wood here, which is about 6 feet tall or so, and onto that I'm going to put dowels, basically like this. And I'm basically just going to drill these into the wood and then use glue, wood glue to put those in. And then on the bottom, you imagine this is now the bottom. I have these pieces, and they're going to go like this all the way around. So like this and like that on all four sides, all the way around. Get the idea there. And I was going to screw those onto a base of just a piece of plywood. Unfortunately, I discovered about 15 minutes ago that the piece of plywood I had prepped for this was smaller than I thought. It won't actually fit the entire size that I need. So that has to be a separate step later. I probably won't film that just because, it's simply just slapping a base on the bottom and screwing it into these four pieces. But we should be able to do everything else tonight. I've already cut my dowels to length. These are 3 feet dowels. I believe they are, let's see here. They are, looks like about 3/4 of an inch, or, about 1.5 centimeters. And so I'm just finishing up sanding those. I've got some coarse sandpaper here. This is, I think, about 60 grit, excuse me. And so I'm just using that to get off the main bits here that need to be sanded down. And then I'm taking some 220 grit fine sandpaper and going over that again just to make it nice and smooth. So it'll go in there nicely. And in fact, I think these all need the fine sandpaper. Because when you're putting puppets back and forth on a rack like this, you really want a nice smooth end on that. And if I had a lathe, or if I had a large piece of sandpaper, there are these things you can buy. This basically a giant sandpaper disc. And so if I had one of those, I would just put this up against it on the corner and just kind of grind away the edges to get a nice rounded edge, which you can basically do with sandpaper if you want to put in the time to do that. But I'm not as concerned about that right now. Like, I don't need to, I don't have 6-year-olds interacting with these puppets. It's going to be me and other adults by and large, so I'm not too worried about that. And once all this is built, the plan is to then go with just a black spray paint over the entire thing. I'll just take it outside and coat it with black spray paint. Probably 2 coats will be enough. Maybe just 1. Yeah. And almost inevitably when you're doing this stuff, you'll find you end up chewing away some of the edges of that of the dowel. That's almost pretty much inevitable. Don't worry too much about that. That's just one of the natures of the tools you're going to be using. Unless you have a fully functional workshop and all the really nice tools, you're going to have those imperfections, and that's just one of the things you got to live with. Now, if you are doing this kind of thing, so here's a great example of that as a quick tip. So I managed to chew up some of this edge, as you can see, but this edge is nice and straight. It's actually the edge cut at the store. So if I have a choice, and I will, when I install this, I'm going to install this end, the chewed up end, into the post, and this end, the nice end, will be out. And obviously the green will be covered by the paint. It'll all be black. So just the rest of these sanded down. Now you don't need anything really sanded for what's going inside the post in terms of aesthetics, but it does make it a little easier to fit things inside. You're not going to have odd little bits sticking out to kind of get in the way there. Okay, so these need the full sanding. You can see how rough that is on that, and here's we'll get a better idea. You can see how rough that is on that end. And yeah, we definitely want to get all those bits off of there. So we're just gonna run sandpaper over there. Hello! Hey Diego, how you doing? Good to see you. Doing some woodworking today, just to change things up a bit. Should be a pretty quick project. And it's also nice, it's one of those projects where once I do part of it, it'll be very clear how to do the other parts. You know, you don't need to watch every single step of this to understand how it goes. Alright, so there's that on that. And now we'll just run the finer grit sandpaper over that just to give it that nice soft edge. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but when you're doing sandpaper, you will work your way through the sandpaper pretty quickly. It'll start to get a little less effective. And do not worry about trying to preserve your piece of sandpaper forever. That's one of the classic newbie mistakes, is folks will just kind of have one piece of sandpaper and use that for like the entire day. It's like, no, it's perfectly okay to chew through a bunch of these pieces of sandpaper. In fact, I've already gone through one of these, and this will probably be done by the time I'm done here. It is just much more efficient and effective to be willing to move on. Obviously, keep an eye on it. Don't do it unnecessarily. Actually, there's a good amount of that side left, so I'll be able to keep this one. But don't fall for that trap. Okay, so there's the other end for the last dowel. So I had 2 dowels, each 3 feet long, and I've cut both of the. Oh, sorry, I had 2 dowels 3 feet long, and I've cut those in quarters. I have a total of 8 of these dowels. Yep. And we'll drill holes for these in a little bit. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the base first, because that should be something that we can do fairly clearly. So the idea here is, again, they're going to go kind of like this, although further down on the pole. So I need to drill a pilot hole and then drill some screws in. What I want to do, I have all these spare screws, so I kind of want to make use of them. I know these really long screws are going to be just way too much. I'm not going to be able to drill that all the way through. It's just too much for a something like this. So I'm going to go with 2 screws, one at the very top of each of those, and then I'll see. Yeah, see, that seems a bit too much. I'd love to do that, but it would just kill me. So something like this would be rather nice. Something about that length. What else have we got? That's not bad. That's not terrible. Again, kind of trying to make use of some leftovers here. And these will all get covered up. That's pretty good. Okay, I think I have enough of about the right length. Yeah, those are all pretty much what I'm going for there. Okay, good. In fact, what I might do, I could do basically one here, one on the other side, and then a longer one in the middle going through both. Going kind of in the middle. I like that. So I'll make sure I have enough of those. Okay. Ow. Screws, oddly enough, are sharp. Oops. Losing a few to the floor, so we will We'll clean those up post-haste because I do not want to step on those. That would suck. Where did I get these things? The store, you know, the Home Depot in my case, or Lowe's, or whatever. Whatever establishment you have near you that supplies such things. All right. So this is going to go over here for now. In fact, I'm going to move that over here. Just kind of get it out of my way. All right, so let's move this up. And then I think I'm going to mark, well, I could probably figure this out with the Pythagorean theorem, couldn't I? I could. Excuse me. So we know, let's see here. So this is going to be, it's convenient, 23 centimeters. So let's do some quick calculations. So 23 times 23, that's 529. That's that's one side, which is going to equal the square of the other two sides. So, am I correct in understanding that I should be able to take half of that and then do a square root? 16. So we're saying if that's there, then we want to go 16 centimeters. Let's just measure that. Ha! Math. Math is awesome. All right, so we just figured out that based on the Pythagorean theorem, which is that a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared, meaning one side equals, the square of one side equals the square of the other two sides. Is that right? I think. So we just ran that calculation on one of the sides, this side, and then because I know this is a right triangle, and this is the long side, I know the other two sides are equal. So I took the other two sides, divided in half on the square root of that, and that gives me 16 centimeters. So I'm going to measure 16 centimeters, and that should be where I need this guy to fit. So now I have a place kind of to mark my thing, my bases. 16, and then that's going to go here. Let you see this. Okay. Close this out. So, hard for you to see that. There we go. So again, we measured this side and got the angle for these other two corners of the triangle, which is 16 centimeters on the bottom. So that's where that is going to go. And so I place a piece there and then go up to the top and mark that off so I know exactly where that is. And again, 16. This is actually a little tall. Again, at like 6 feet or so. At a French test today. Bon. Très bon. Hypotenuse of a 90-degree angle, 90-degree triangle, which fortunately it was. High school homework. Wow. All right. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to pre-drill some holes using, hopefully, drill. And I want to go like that. So I'm choosing a bit that is slightly narrower in width than the screw I'm drilling in. Oops, wrong way. Going backwards. I took French myself. Okay, so I think what I might do actually is just do it from here. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Not the most accurate drilling I've ever done. That's okay. Okay. So, oh, that may be a mistake. I may have drilled that too much for a, no, I think we're okay. All right. So basically, now that we have that, I'm going to re-drill into the wood down there. So I've got my 3 holes drilled here, right there, and this is going to go on like that and screwed in like that. Now we get to the tough part where I'm going to have to sort of screw these in backwards. Going forward? No, going in reverse. Helps go forward. Oh, that screw may be stripped. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Okay. Try a different screw. That one looks a little happier. Okay. So we're just going to try putting that in there. Do I live alone? I sure do. It's tougher than my man. So, oh, I have a really and where's the chalk? I can't find the chalk for this. The way I can do it. Is it in here? Nope, that's not it. I can't very well change this out. Well, okay. So the problem here is that the bit I have is very pointed. It's a Phillips head. And I really want a more snub-nosed bit for these screws, because these screws, as you can see, are very, actually that's pretty well stripped. But even the ones that aren't stripped, as you can see, if I put this in here, it's very loose. So I'm going to try using the battery-operated drill, even though I know it is very unlikely to get much grip here. But we will have to find out. Okay, and I have plenty of these screws, so I'm not too worried about having one that's stripped. Oh, that's nice. Pull that. Yeah, I think that'll go. Okay, with the pre-drill, that worked quite well. All right. So, yay. Okay. That was easy, relatively speaking. And yeah, that looks right. So I'm double checking the angle on this, again, just to be sure we're correct. And yep, that's going to be flat. So I might even just forego. I mean, honestly, one of the reasons I'm doing 3 screws here is so that I could technically, for now, forego putting a base on here and just have the legs. I want to put some padding on the bottom, but at least that would get us going. All right, so let's keep on going here. Let's reuse. This one already has a hole in it because I was using it for another project. So we're just going to kind of, again, redo the same thing. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to keep on readjusting this unless I pre-drill all of them. Maybe I'll do that. I'll pre-drill all of them. And then go from there. So, yeah, living alone has its advantages and its disadvantages. You know, it can get, oops, very quiet at times, but also I'm not getting in anyone's way. No one's getting in my way. So, pluses and minuses. Everything's a trade-off. Okay. Haven't found that special someone yet. And I don't own any pets because I'm a dog person, all things considered. And I would not want to subject a dog to, ooh, I need to shave this down. So you see this bit here. We don't want that on the floor. So I'm going to take that off right now. Yeah. Yes, I definitely plan to. I might start dating this year. That's actually one of my kind of goals for this year. I've dated before, but just hasn't worked out yet. Generally had good, you know, dating experiences. No real horror stories, but no one I clicked with. So, you know, gone out with various girls, but whatever. One of them's still a friend of mine. Just one of those things where sometimes these things do not work out. So I kind of stopped dating for a while to get, oh no, I wanted to draw all the way through all these things. Okay. Kind of wanted to get the anime channel back up and going, get some other projects running before I got back into dating. You know, kind of try not to have too many projects all going on at once. So now that Geek Archaeology is kind of reestablished, I feel a little more confident. Nope, go in. Nope, don't want to do that, okay. My goodness. What? That's weird. Am I getting into something? Oh. Okay, it's having some problems keeping a grip. Okay. Get that nice and steady. Yeah, dating's tough when you've also got, like, you know, multiple online shows and such. There's just a lot to be done. And, you know, I don't want to be trying to date someone while we've also got kind of these responsibilities. It's kind of not fair to that person, right? Did not go in well. Okay, well, I may have to kind of live with that. align this just right. Everything wants to shuffle. Right. Nothing wants to stay in place. Whoop. Whoop. Now, we'll go ahead and put this guy in. Oh, I need to. You just switch this back out round. Appreciated that, Diego. I certainly hope so. It's a little hard, being my age, finding somebody who's comfortable with geekiness. But here's hoping. Okay, that's in as well as that's going to go. I'm going to have to pull out some more of these, aren't I? I think so. So what I'm doing here, you'll notice, is I'm doing... it's hard to see with that. Let me readjust. There. So I'm putting this one on opposite this one, so I don't have weight all over the place. It's kind of balanced as I'm putting these on one by one. All right. How do you have such a positive attitude all the time? That's a very good question. So, on the one hand, I was kind of born with it. I am lucky to have grown up with parents who are, one is very positive and the other is kind of pragmatic. So that was definitely a lucky break. Let me see if I can grab more of these things. But also, I grew up with people who weren't. And I know people who are negative, and I saw how they just didn't really have much fun in life, and they were just kind of all the time. And I thought to myself, well, if I have a choice, right, and if it's one of those things where you know either approach is valid, I would rather be happy. So I've kind of inculcated in myself that attitude and try to focus on that and not get sucked down into those depression things. I can certainly get depressed. I have my blue periods. There were times when I thought I was bipolar. But I think that was just, you know, having blue periods. Oh, that doesn't... okay. Let's get this guy in first. Okay. And we'll try to get this guy in. Getting sort of a fun spaceship going here. There we are. Okay. And then another screw. Ooh, this is... oh, shoot. So I broke it. All right, well, what we'll do, like, I can live with a slightly broken piece. So yeah, some of it is just, you know, refusing to not be positive, if you will. It definitely helps knowing people who are the opposite. All right, that's going to have to be there. Should do a room tour. That's a good idea. I might do that. Perhaps tonight, because this is coming along very quickly. All right. Okay. So this is going to be our base. It's pretty much done. And yeah, you'll undoubtedly notice that these screws are not all the same size, shape, head, all that fun stuff. Again, this is just for me. And it's going to all be covered with black spray paint, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we got all those 4 of those legs in. Let's see what happens. Hey! That is pretty happy. It's actually a little tall, feels like. No, that's about right. No, those look right. It's like the middle is a bit too tall, or the sides aren't quite going down properly. Huh. So I might need / want a base on this thing after all. Or I could fiddle with that one that didn't go in very well. So the problem is this, we have this one loose guy, and I think if he was in, yeah, that's, so check this out. Better position this. You can see what's going on here. So not only is this loose, watch this. Look at this joint here and how much a gap there is right there. So if this was driven all the way in and down, it would be down by quite a bit more and it would be stable. So I have to redo this. Against the wall. Yeah, I might do that as well. That's a good idea. So I think we'll start off. Can I drive this guy in any further? Nope. So what I might be able to do here is, oops. Drive the drill bit even further in. Yeah. In far enough that that will go all the way in, that screw will go all the way in. Right. That's as far as it's going to go. So we'll try that. Yeah, if this doesn't work, I may have to just redo the leg from scratch, which is fine. I have other pieces, I have other legs here, but this might fix it. Oops. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to move over. That is definitely closer. I'm going to move over to manual. Some good old elbow grease here. Yeah. That'll get it those extra couple of turns in. Alright. And then maybe I can actually drive this down. Yeah, I'm just going to sort of get that down like that. So it's at least butting into that wood. Let's see what we have now. Oh yeah, that's pretty stable. That's definitely the kind of stable that's, you know, good enough for what I'm doing. Yeah, good. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I can play around with things, maybe adjust the heights and depths and such, but that's totally effective. All right, so that's good. So now we're going to add our posts for our puppets. Now, looking at this, these might actually be too short. Looking at my puppets, I'm realizing some of these are quite large, so I'm concerned if I, you know, that's going to work pretty well with that length of a dowel, but some of these might not. So we're going to see. So first I'm going to do is mark off where I want these to be. I want them to be fairly high up, so easy to reach. One of the nice things about building your own stuff is that you can make it the right size for you, but I don't want them so high that I'm kind of pulling them off the top. So I'm thinking maybe about, and I'm going to have 2 rows, so I'm thinking maybe 1 row here, and another row down here. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. So we're going to take this, actually. I'm going to flip this around. Okay. And I'm going to eyeball this. So rotate that around. Put that same spot there. Eyeball that, put that in here. Oops. And then same thing here. There and there. We want it to be there and there. Oh, wait. Nope. See, I can't drill in on all four sides because then those holes, well, actually I could. The holes would, touch inside, but that wouldn't hurt anything. Can't do that with screws. Obviously, if I had screws and they all sort of met in one point in the middle, that would be bad. But these do need to go in pretty far. So now I'm going to have to stagger these. Okay, that's fine. So let's rethink that. This is not an eraser. I think I have a usable eraser here somewhere. Yeah, I think that'll work. So I think that was my first mark. So I'll go ahead and erase off those. Another way is to kind of scribble them out, so it's clear that that's not what you want to do. Okay, and I didn't do that. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do is, since these are going to be like this, we probably will need a good, what are we thinking? I'm going to say a 2-inch margin. So these are going to end up, they're going to have to stagger around. So we'll have basically, we'll have one here, and then the next one is going to go here, but down by like a couple of inches. So is that as high as I want and going down from there? Yeah, I think that's good. That's about as high as I want. All right, so that tells me that. So I'm just going to measure, starting here. I'm going to go over here and go down 5 centimeters. Oops. That seems like a lot. Maybe 4. Yeah, 4 centimeters to here. I'm trying to learn metric. Or trying to, do metric consistently. The advantage of this, using the staggered approach, is that I don't have to be quite as exact about the height of these, because they're not going to be, all around on the same horizontal plane. 4 centimeters down to here. And it's not that I hate imperial, it's just metric just makes so much more sense, so much easier to deal with in many ways. All right, so we go down 4 centimeters from here. We are doing it that way, right? Yep. I want to make sure we're going the same rotation all the way around. 4 centimeters down. And like I said, when I'm done with this, probably tomorrow or the next day or something, I will go ahead and just hit it with a coat of black paint. 4 centimeters. Okay. So now we have this interesting question. It's actually going to look quite nice. Hey, Master Chief. Good to see you. Yeah, exactly. Well, there'll be different levels for so it'll look nice besides just being functional. All right. What I might do? Let me just see this, because the last one comes down and is quite a bit higher than the next set around. So that one starts like another 9 centimeters down. I'm almost tempted to just do it 4 centimeters all the way around, so it's consistent. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Just to be even a little more weird, or just just to add that extra little bit of quality to it. So we're gonna erase those marks and those marks, and we'll redo the bottom ones to continue on in the same way. So there's that one. There's that one. That's going to be the next one. So we do. I have a ruler over here. Easier. Okay. So there's that one. So we're going to go down 4, which I can't read anymore. Time for new ruler. I actually have that on my to-do list, is to get a new ruler. This one has served me well for many a year, and the markings have worn off enough that I just can't really use it very much. Also, I would like one that has a metal edge, so you can just run, put it down, run something across it, and it's not messing up that edge. So yes, we're getting pretty close here on getting this. So I think what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to drill the holes in initially straight in just to get them started, and then I'll angle it and drive them in at an angle. That should get me the what I'm looking for there. Okay, good. So let me just make sure. 2, 4, 6, 8. Good, we have them all. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to grab a bit of the water here. Feels good. All right, so I need a very large. Ooh, this might be an issue. Do I have a bit? I do not. I do not. Well, actually, no, I do not have a bit thick enough for these dowels. So that is a limitation. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. So I may not be able to finish this tonight. That sucks. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I do not have big, wide drill bits. Okay, well, and I can't really make these thinner. Dang, that's a problem. Let me think. I know somebody who does. I'm actually going to their house tomorrow. So that might be the only way. So what I'll do, just for now, let's go ahead and get this big old drill bit in there and to try what we were talking about before. So I'm just going to... Hello. Come on, come now. Wow. It just cannot bite into that. Then I would basically do this. Wow, no. Yeah, that is the idea. That is the plan. But obviously can't do much there when the dowels are twice as big as the holes. Well, that's disappointing. So, I'm sorry you couldn't see that. I just realized. So yeah, that was just drilling a hole, but it's not going to work very well. Again, I just got to think if I've got some solution to this. I can't think of a solution other than a very large drill bit. Well, dang. Okay, well, point being, that is the idea behind this. We're going to have to stop there, I think, on this particular project. But I think you can see what will be the next steps here. Would be to drill all the way into here, and then basically add some wood glue, and then stick these dowels into each of these holes, let them dry, and then basically you're done. Again, you might want to add a base onto that, just screw some plywood onto the bottom of that as your base. But otherwise, you're just basically putting your dowels in here, and then you're going to have your final puppet thing. So we're going to have one here, and then another dowel down here, another down here, all the way around. Total of space for 8. So that's the plan. That's going to have to be it for Workshop Wednesday tonight. Apologies for the short one and kind of the aborted attempt at this, but as I said, I think you can get how to build this if you wanted to on your own. That'll do it for this week. Next week we'll be back with, I think I'll be working on some LED light strips, basically cutting an LED light strip into several pieces and then rewiring it together so you can have a set of one lights here, other lights a little bit further over, things along those lines, kind of extending the length of your LED lights to get it in other corners and spaces. So again, that's it for tonight. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll be back next week with more. So till next time, hope you make something interesting. See ya.